going to try this again. I shot this entire video. It was like 28 minutes. And my Rode external mic, for whatever reason, wasn't working right. So we are going to try it again. Okay, this is going to be an update. I posted an update about 2 weeks ago, I think. It might have been a week. I don't know. I was sick. So I have another one here. Okay. My charge pipe, I went ahead and replaced the big monstrosity that was a bunch of silicone elbows and different adapters, and just did it all in a single 3-inch. Going down to my merged, if you can see it down here, which is 2 3s into a single 3.5, which I have merged back down to a 3. Now 3 inches is pretty good size for a cold side. It might be a little big for my setup, but I'm hoping it might make these turbos a little less punchy. These turbos should spool pretty fast, so I'm hoping it makes it a little less like a light switch. I don't know if you've seen some turbo cars where it just like instantaneously blows the tires off just when the minute it comes up on boost, spools so quick. I'm hoping it doesn't do that. Let's see here, my War Performance 92mm throttle body. I just got this. This is my Holley billet adjustable fuel pressure regulator with 1-to-1 boost reference. Now you can see right now I have coming out of the fuel rail, these are Dash 8 fuel rails. I have a Dash 8 ORB to 8 male to a coupler to another Dash 8 male to a Dash 8 ORB, which makes it stick out kind of long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of these, and I'm going to a single Dash 8 ORB to a Dash 8 ORB adapter, which will move it in so that it'll set right about here. I'm still going to make a bracket that'll use this bolt hole in the cylinder head to support it, because I don't want the weight of the return line and the regulator bouncing on the rail. You can see, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it flexes quite a bit. That's a lot to have on these aluminum fittings, so I don't want to risk that, so I'm going to make a bracket. These are Vibrant fittings though, they're really good. Let's see here what else I've done. I made a video a while back. I was sick, but I made a video with the TEP elbows. I'm really happy with those the more I look at them. Let's see here, give another shout out to my buddies over at Top End Performance. They did a great job, exactly what I asked for. Couldn't be happier. We decided to relocate my coils off the valve cover. I'm going to relocate them down here so my wires will run down and they'll run under the exhaust, and they won't be anywhere near the hot side. They won't be near the turbos, the header tubes, or anything like that. And I am going to have them come down, and they're going to be wrapped up in a thermo shield, so they'll be even more protected. Doing that on both sides. I have to get with Firecore. I'm going to have Firecore custom make my wires, and I need them to tell me how they want me to measure them exactly, because they have their own method. So I got to do that. I have the master cylinder mounted. This is a Strange Mopar manual master cylinder kit, which I already had a master cylinder. If you want to save a little bit of money and you want the same thing, this is a 1.125" master cylinder, a 1 by 1.125 master cylinder. It's almost the exact same master cylinder that comes on a 2010 Ford Fusion. So, which I already have one, which, let me see here. Dig up my messy ass garage right here. So, you can see they are pretty much the exact same master cylinder. So the Strange kit was, I think it was $99, but it came with the pedal push rod, the boot, which you always want to run the boot because it acts as a secondary retention method for the push rod, because sometimes if you don't have it set up right, the push rod will actually fall out of the back of the master cylinder, and then you're screwed. You have no brakes whatsoever. There's been instances of guys having that happen, and they pretty much have to slam the car. If they don't have parking brake that works that can slow it down, they have to slam it in gear, which is nothing you want. I made an adapter plate to bolt to where the factory booster was, and this piece here is a stiffening plate. There's another one on the other side that sandwiches the firewall. It makes it really stiff. On these Dakotas, you have the firewall, then you have this secondary plate welded, and there's actually an aluminum support bracket housing on the other side of the firewall that holds the pedal pivots, and it actually acts as a brace for the steering column. So this master cylinder is incredibly rigid. It is not going anywhere. I could probably stand on it. And with this master cylinder, when I mounted it, I moved it up a little bit from the original, where the original push rod came in for the booster. So you have your pedal rod that your brake pedal's on. It goes up and down. And then you have a pin that sticks out that the original brake booster attached to actuate the master cylinder. Well, the push rod for this one sets about an inch higher. It comes in about an inch higher than that push rod. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the brake pedal out, and I'm going to remove the pivot pin, and I'm actually going to move it about an inch up from the push rod. So I'll gain 2 inches on the pedal arm, and I just have to make a quick angled adapter for the master cylinder push rod, so I'll actually get more leverage on the brakes, because when you go from power brakes to manual brakes, you have what's called a pedal ratio. Like most of your power brakes have usually about 5-to-1 pedal ratio. Your manual brakes usually about 7-to-1. It varies. It depends. There's a lot of factors. It depends on the master bore, what kind of brakes you have, and everything like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the ratio so I can, by the same amount of force applied on the brake pedal as normal, I'm actually putting more force on the manual master cylinder, so I'll have just as good braking as I did with the power brakes, if that makes sense. And you can see why I had to have it, because the factory setup, it came out to about here, which would put the brake lines right about here, and here is my turbo outlet. So there was no way that was going to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come out of here, right off of here on a 45, and come down. I'm going to trim the inner fender here, get rid of this, and it's going to come down. I'm going to make a heat shield to protect the lines. I'm going to bring the lines off as tight as I can, bring them back and down, and they'll actually come down here and they'll meet up with the existing lines. So, and I will be using a JEGS manual proportioning valve for the rear brakes with a 10-pound residual valve. And this master cylinder is a little on the big side. I probably could have gone with a 1-inch, but I went with the 1.1 because eventually this truck will have rear disc brakes. Right now it has drum brakes, but I'm going to put a Ford 8.8 rear end in it with discs. So I'll be able to still use this master cylinder. I'll just have to adjust the proportioning valve and I'll be good to go. And the residual valve, what it does is it keeps a little bit of pressure on the drum brakes, because you have the springs in the drum brakes wanting to pull the shoes off the drum. And what will happen sometimes is, if you don't have a residual valve, you'll hit your brakes and you'll have a very low or weak pedal, and you'll have to hit them again before you get a full solid pedal, because you have to bring those brakes back out, and that valve stops that. A lot of the OEMs, they use it. There's a lot of cars out there that come with them on there from the factory, so it's just a good idea. Let me see here. I got the air filters on. These are K&Ns. I'm really happy with these. It's about the biggest air filter I can get on here. I am going to make a clamp-on shield that'll fit right here. That'll just help the filters last and keep the heat away from them, keep from sucking in the hot air. I did decide a new theme on the truck. You can see right here, I'm going to go with a Punisher theme. Today I ordered the Punisher oil cap, which I had to change the oil cap anyways because I don't like the plastic cap being this close to the headers. So I'm going to get rid of that, and I got a billet cap coming. You just have to be really careful checking your oil once the engine's been running for a while. That cap might be hot. And I did order a aluminum Punisher logo for the hood emblem, replacing the skull. I had a skull that was on there before, but I decided to replace that. Okay, let me see here. Some might notice this is the return line off the regulator. This is a -8 return, and then I have a -8 feed. You might notice that these are push lock, the same as the -10 push locks for the breather assembly, which I'll get to. People are going to flip out because I'm using push lock on this system. I'm going to use the Parker push lock from Orme Brothers, ORME Brothers. It is rated to 400 psi versus the cheap Jegs and Russell push lock. I think the Jegs is rated to 250 and the Russell is rated to 300. But the Russell and the Jegs are not rated for fuel. Let me see here. I grab it. Oops. This right here is, come on. This is -6. Pretty sure this is the Jegs push lock. This is what was on the truck before. Now, when I built this truck, when I built this fuel system, I should say, it was probably about 5 or 6 years ago. And when I ordered this stuff, I ordered it off the Jegs website with all the fittings. At the time, it listed it as being compatible with gasoline. So I went ahead and ordered it, right? Well, about a month or so later, they update their website and say, oh, it's not compatible with gasoline. Great. So I already had it on the truck. Well, it was just carbureted and I ran it. I took my chance and I ran it for a couple of years. And eventually, I went with this LS swap, so I had to upgrade anyways from this tiny -6. Well, what I discovered is when you run the push lock, there's two things that happen. Well, two primary things and a third thing. The primary thing is you'll notice fuel vapors. Like you'll come out in your garage when it's hot out and you'll notice a slight gasoline smell. And what that is the gasoline fumes actually permeate the inner liner of the hose and they go through the external liner and they just seep into the air. You don't actually get gasoline leaking, but you get the fumes. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is this stuff gets really stiff. I'm trying to do this one-handed if I can. But this stuff is very stiff. It's not flexible at all. It's not as flexible as it was when it was new for sure. So actually I had my fuel pressure regulator mounted over near the original master cylinder on this setup. And I had a hose running behind the intake and the carb up to the carb inlet, the fuel feed for the carb inlet. And I took that hose off, and that hose was so stiff that when I bent it, it actually just split into two. It was done. And that was the Russell push lock. I had the Jegs for everything back to the cell, but I had the Russell push lock for that last little 3-foot run. So that was scary. So I ripped it off the truck. There's still a piece I got to get ripped off the truck. So I'm going to use the Parker push lock, which, like I said, is rated to 400 psi, and it is rated for fuel. So I won't have that problem. And Vibrant actually makes crimp clamps to help keep it from coming off the lines, which can happen if the hose gets too hot, which I'm not going to have that problem here, but it's just an extra safety item. So I'm going to put that on. So the whole fuel system will be done in that Parker. Like I said, I'm going to have -8 feed and the -8 return, so I'll have plenty of supply. As far as a fuel pump, right now I think I'm going to go with the MagnaFuel electric gear drive pump. It's like the Pro Star, I think it's called. It'll actually support 2500 on pump gas, so that's more than enough for anything I will ever need. I will never max that out with my little setup, so I'm pretty much just going to future-proof my fuel system. So I'm done upgrading. It'll be the last time I have to upgrade, so I'm going to do that. Let me see here. I did get my cold side pipes. I don't know if I showed these in the last video or not. I tried to keep them pretty symmetrical because my OCD. I think I did a pretty good job. They clear everything and everything's nice. I still got plenty of room. I have at least an inch from the hot side to the couplers, and I probably will wrap these headers. I wasn't sure about it, but I think I'm going to go ahead and just wrap the headers. I'm not going to wrap the elbows because I like the way they look and I don't think it's needed. But I'm going to wrap the headers, and I am going to wrap the downpipes because the downpipes are going to come close to the firewall. They'll come out of here and run down. They'll be close to the firewall, and I'm going to try to help keep some of the heat out of the passenger compartment because most of the heat insulation and sound deadening is coming out of the truck. So it'll have really thin carpet, and that'll be it. So anything I do to keep some of the heat out of the truck and make it bearable in the summertime is what I'm going to do. I did get my electric cooling fan on. It is a low profile Flexolite fan, and you can see I have about 3/8 of clearance from the fan motor to the fan, so that'll work. That's a 2500 CFM fan. If this doesn't work to keep it cool, I'm going to step up to a custom aluminum radiator with a different fan setup, and I may have it to where the radiator moves back even more so I can just put a big dual pusher fan setup in the front. But we'll see. We're going to try this for now and see if that works. I have some other parts up here. I have my Monkey Fab. Let's see if I get that logo. T4 half-inch thick, or T304 half-inch thick stainless steel turbo flanges, support flanges. And what these do is, here, they bolt in between the elbow and the turbo. So they'll provide a mounting location so you can make a support bracket, because otherwise you have the weight of the combined weight of the turbo, the air filter, the elbows, the gates, these elbows, and the downpipes all resting on your headers. So it might not look like they flex, but when they get hot, they'll actually flex with your driving, and it usually cracks around the header tube where it meets the flange, or it cracks at the collector. And you'll be chasing cracks, and your headers will be breaking all the time, and you'll be wondering why. It's because you have all that weight on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a bracket that'll come off each one and bolt to the side of the block. Like this side here, I'll use the holes that were for the AC compressor bracket, and that one will bolt to the side. My goal is to have it bracketed and sturdy enough that I could actually take these elbows off and take the headers off, and the turbos will stay right in their location. So you could pull the whole exhaust off basically and leave the turbos and the downpipes on and the cold side on, and the headers will stay right where they're at. That's my goal. We'll see. I have my, let's see here, get a picture of this. ICT billet. This is the dual oil feed for the turbos. This goes on the side of the pan and gives it right above the oil filter and gives it a nice location for getting your oil feed. These lines, I got to give a shout out to anplumbing.com. I don't know if I can get on these or not, but these are stainless XRP-4 made in the USA fittings on really nice stainless line. I think these are 60 or 172 and I think 160 inch. These are the oil feed lines for the turbos. These will feed into the top from this piece here. I'm still waiting on the fittings that go into this that'll tie into these. These are Vibrant-4 90-degree fittings. These are what will thread into the top of the turbos. And here is my mufflers, if you want to call them mufflers. These are 3.5 inch by like 9 inch Dynamax race bullets. There is not much muffler there. So these will be mounted pretty much about like right there. I'm going to try to keep them nice and tight. So that'll be cool. Get those on. I'm still waiting on some more to come in, but these are two of the mandrel bent 3.5 inch aluminized pipes. These are what I'm going to cut up to make the downpipes. When I built the downpipes originally, they were 3.5 inch, but I made them out of a straight piece of tube and just pie cut them, which worked good. I mean, I had it nice tucked in, but I think the mandrel bends will work even better. So I'm going to go ahead and do the mandrel bends on that. The reason I did the pie cuts on here, a lot of people ask me about this, is because I couldn't find a radius a mandrel bent radius piece of 3" that was tight enough. I looked. I ordered a piece from Vibrant that was supposed to have about the same dimensions as this, and when it showed up, I posted a picture on Facebook, but when it showed up, it was like, my God, there was 10 inches between the tubes. It was like here was the other tube. So I sent that back. I literally emailed all the suppliers. Nobody had a mandrel bent 3" It was as tight as these. So that's why I went with the pie cut. I like the looks of the pie cut. It doesn't bother me at all. Some people it triggers, but to me, I like it. I will say it was more cost-wise because you've got the labor of all these beautiful TIG welds, but it was worth it to me to get the turbos where I wanted them. People ask me why I don't have the gates exactly the same on each side, and that's because instead of focusing more on the looks, I made sure they were in the actual best location performance-wise. I put them right at each elbow, so they're in the perfect location. They might not set equal, but that doesn't really bother me. So for the breather, I was going to mount it over there, but it quickly became apparent that wasn't going to work with the coils and the air filter taking up all the room. So I think I'm going to mount it right here. I'll just make a bracket to tie into this upper bar. And I used some of my eBay bucks to buy some -10 fittings, some straight and some 45-degree push lock -10 fittings. So I think I'm going to mount it right here and just run one line to each valve cover and we'll be good. I think it'll look pretty good too. And it'll be out of the way of everything. It shouldn't have any problem clearing my radiator hoses. Let's see here. Now for over on this side, the rule is you have to run a catch can or some kind of catch device to catch overflow from the cooling system. So right here is a what they call a recirculating catch can. This was what I had on the truck before with the mounting bracket, but the problem is it's red. The whole theme of this truck is black and minimal and sleeper status, Punisher status. So I've got a black one coming. It should be here tomorrow actually. And I'm going to make a bracket for it and mount it down low down here. It's got to be out of the way because my blow-off valve will be mounted right here. So everything's going to be tucked in nice and tight. That's one thing that has taken a lot of work on this build that people don't realize is when you pull the motor out and you got everything, you've got this whole wide engine bay, this whole open canvas. But you don't realize how fast you run out of real estate. Like I thought I was going to have all kinds of room to mount stuff on the fenders and everything, and that room is gone. I mean, now it's like putting Lego pieces together, and you just have to find the combination to make everything fit the tightest you can. So, but I think I've got everything worked out. I've moved all this around in my head about 1,000,000 times trying to make it fit. But I think I've got everything down now in the general area where it's going to work and where all the lines can run uninterfered. And I think I've got the packaging down now. So, but that's one aspect of when you do a build that people don't think about is just how fast you run out of room. And do you have room for those hoses? Are they going to rub on anything? Are they going to be hot? Are you going to be able to run them without crimping on anything? What about your wiring harness? You got to have room for your wiring harnesses and all that stuff. So just something people don't think about, and that I myself, didn't pay enough attention to in the beginning, that I had to go back and readdress. I think right now that's about it. I'm still waiting on literally about 20 deliveries. The thermostat, the radiator hose will literally come right off like that. It'll be nice straight. This one, I'm going to have to put the blow-off valve on this side. I'm going to put it probably right about here. But this hose will come off, wrap around, and I'm going to use the original upper radiator hose, radiator cap housing. On the Dakotas, they don't have the radiator cap on the radiator. They put it at the highest point in the system, which is right about here. So I'm going to actually use that piece and just tie in with new hose and put it right here and make a bracket for it so it's nice and solid mounted. So it'll still be the highest point in the system. I'm trying to think. I've just got a bunch of miscellaneous fittings coming along. I'm getting ready to order the Mac valves for my dome control. I'm going to use 1/4 inch push air fittings. Those will all be wrapped. The oil lines for the turbos, the drain lines, and some other lines are all going to be wrapped with thermal shield, heat shield, same as the plug wires, so they'll be protected from the heat. I still need to have the motor pulled out, and I still need to pull the oil pan off to get the dash 10 bungs welded for the oil drains, get those on. Then the motor can go in for the final time. While the motor is out, this is another thing that we've discovered. John Bewley's actually discovered this, and he turned me and a bunch of other people onto it. These LC9 VVT motors, generally 2007 to like 13, I think it is. If they had the VVT, you have to use the aftermarket, like a comp aftermarket adjustable timing set. Otherwise, if you just put them dot to dot, your cam timing will be off 8 degrees. It's only on the VVT motors. Now, we're not sure, nobody's sure yet if it's because the keyway is off 8 degrees on the crank or if it's the gear. We're not sure yet. So I'm going to have to put when I get it out, I'm going to put a 7106 timing set in it, which is a double roller adjustable comp, which will give me up to 8 degrees rotation of cam degreeing. So I'm going to put that in. I will have to clearance the timing cover, and I am going to have to clearance the oil pump, which is a bit of a pain, but it's worth it for me to have the actual cam timing be spot on. I think Matt ran into this with the truck engine also over on Sloppy. So that'll be happening. But I'm going to degree the cam while it's in the motor. I'll just do it with the heads on. There's a method of doing that. So I'll do a video on that and show you how to do it. I'm going to chronicle all of this because I definitely found out this is something that not a lot of people are aware of or ran into. I wasn't even aware of it until John told me about it. So I'm going to do a video on that. Speaking of videos, YouTube and their change to the partnership program. It is going to affect me. For those that don't know, basically what YouTube is doing is they're changing the minimum requirements to be in their partnership program, where you actually get paid per views. You get paid for ad views on your videos. Like, I make $100 a year off this channel, which isn't a lot. I think right now I'm setting at like 278 subs, and I generally average about 15,000 views a month, so that's still real low. But I can't believe I actually have 278 subs, because I remember when I had 10 subs and I couldn't believe 10 people were interested in this. And then it went to 20 and then 50. I hit 50 subs and I couldn't believe it. Then I hit 100 subs and I was like, what the hell? Then 200, then 250. And it's just growing. It's amazing. I can't believe people are interested in what I do. So, but getting back to it, what they're doing is you have to have 4,000 hours per calendar year of watch time. So right now I think I'm setting 300 hours of watch time, and you have to have 1,000 subs. So this is going to go in effect at the end of February. So I could, if I push and I spammed my channel, which I don't want to do, I probably could hit the 1,000 subs, but I'm not going to hit the watch time. There's just no way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get kicked off the partnership program. So I'm going to lose all monetization of my videos, which I don't care. In the beginning, I was kind of mad about it because it just seemed like something they were taking away from me. But now that I understand the why, I'm not mad about it. And here's why. YouTube gets around 100,000 new channels added a month. And out of those, probably 95% of them are bot channels. People put out bots, spam bots, and basically what they do is they'll create a channel with a fake profile, gibberish name, and real clickbaity titles, and they'll go out and they'll pick a genre and they'll download somebody else's legitimate videos, all their videos. I've seen 1,700 videos copied to a bot channel before. And then they'll steal, with clickbaity titles and tagging, SEO tagging, they'll steal views for those videos. So now the original content creator isn't getting the views for the videos, the bot channel is. And yeah, YouTube catches them eventually and shuts the channel down, but they still get the check for the videos, which is not right. And they might not get much, but when you're making thousands of channels over and over, it adds up, and they make millions doing this. Well, what that does is, for little guys like me, instead of competing SEO wise against other little channels and other guys, I'm now competing against 100,000 bot channels. There's no way I can compete against that. You can't rise above it. You know, I've heard some people compare it as to being you're a little flower in a garden, and the whole garden is full of weeds that are taller than you. They're stealing all the sunlight, and that's what's happening. So that's what YouTube is doing. They're putting these requirements in because 4,000 hours on videos is going to just crush a bot channel, because they're going to have to dedicate processing power, time, and money into getting the watch time on the videos in order to get paid for it, and they're not going to want to do that. So that's what they're doing. They're taking away the bots out of it. So eventually that'll all fall off, and then it'll be just the content creators making actual content, which is the way it should be. So right now, a little channel like mine doesn't get any traction because I'm competing with all those bots. What'll happen is those will all go away, and then hopefully I'll get some more and more and more views and subs, and my channel can actually grow. I don't do this channel to make money. Like I said, I make $100 a year on it at that. So I do it because I like it. I do it because cars are my passion. Working on cars is my passion. Building things is my passion. Modifying things, making things go faster. Anything mechanical, any of that stuff, it's what I love. When I was a little kid, I was 3 years old. My parents can attest to this. I was 3 years old, and I used to put my big wheel up on boxes and pretend that I was a mechanic working on it. And I would actually hand my parents scribbled out in crayon bills for working on my big wheel. Okay, it was always in my blood. I've been a tech for 24 years. I love it. I run a shop. I work on cars Monday through Saturday. I love it. So even if I never make another dime on it again, I'm still going to do this. I appreciate every single sub I have. I appreciate every view I get. I can't believe I have the subs that I have now. I get new ones all the time. I didn't make a video for 2 months, and I gained like 40 subs. I couldn't believe it. It's crazy. So I appreciate everybody that watches my videos. I appreciate the comments. Even if you downvote it and you don't like it, tell me why. Tell me, you're an idiot. You should have Hemi swapped it. LS swapping is stupid, or whatever. You don't like the color. You don't like what I did. Tell me. If you like it, tell me. I love feedback. I love interacting with my viewers. So my goal is, if I do hit the 1,000 subs and I do hit the 4,000 per calendar year, I think I'm not going to jump right back onto the monetization train again. I think I'm going to focus on just turning out good content, more consistent content. I have not been very consistent with this channel at all. I'll make a video 1 week, then I'll make 2 the next week, then I won't make a video for a month. And YouTube hates that. YouTube wants consistency. They want good content put out on a regular basis with good thumbnails. So I think I'm going to focus on just being more consistent, more content, and better content. I have some ideas for some how-tos. I'm definitely going to do some videos about this cam situation because I haven't seen a lot of people talking about it. I got some Mega Squirt videos coming. I still have the Raspberry Pi stuff. I haven't had a chance to touch that because I've been busy. But I do have some of that stuff coming that I'm working on. I'm just going to grow the channel. If I hit 1,000 subs, I would absolutely flip the hell out. It would be crazy. So, and I think what might happen is once I get up higher to that level, I get around 1,000 subs, you guys can tell me what you think about this, but I'm thinking about doing a giveaway. I think I'm going to give away a VS Racing Turbo. I'm not sure if it's for 1,000 or if it's 1,500 subs yet. Once I hit 500 subs, I'll start getting more focused on it. But I'd like to do a giveaway. I think maybe that will get me some more viewers, more subs, some more people watching. Let me know what you think about that. But yeah, I just want to grow the channel, and I don't want to do it by spamming links to my profile everywhere. I don't want to do it with clickbait titles. I just want to make good content that people like and are interested in. So if if I show something on here and you're interested in it and you want to learn more about it or want me to talk more about it or show you more, let me know. Leave a comment down there. It's really crazy because the videos that do the best on my channel aren't the truck build videos. They generally get, 50, 150, 50 to 150 likes or whatever. The videos that have done the best is, I think the #1 video is a video about uneven heat due to plugged Chrysler heater cores. The second video is the construction video, which I'm not very proud of because it wasn't that good of video quality, of how I made my very first Raspberry Pi Dash. So it's just really hard to tell what people want to see. So I'm going to just try to turn out content that people are interested in, good content, and if it grows, it grows, and if it doesn't, I'm still going to make the videos. Nobody will watch them, but I'm still going to make the videos. I'm still going to build the truck. And if by some miracle this channel does take off and I do start making money and I do start making, a couple $100 a month on it, all the money is going into this. So everything is focused on this. 2018, my goal is to absolutely get it running. That's my goal for the next coming couple months. But I actually want to drive it on its own power this summer. I'm not going to be able to race it. It's not going to be race ready, at least to its full potential. It'll be detuned, probably only 500 horse. It'll be detuned, but I at least want it running. I want to be able to drive it around the block on its own power this year. That would be absolutely great for me, because I still need to build the rear end, the 8.8 for it, and I still need to do the rear suspension, change that up, and some other things to get it ready before I can really start laying the power on it. But 2018 is my goal to get this done. I'm doing everything I can to push for it. It's crazy the amount of money that it takes to build something like this. I'm not kidding. Every order I send in now is $800 or $900. It's just insane. So, but stick with me. I'm pushing. I'm really, really trying to get this running. I know it seems like progress has really been slow because last year I didn't touch this truck. Out of last year, I think my total time on this truck, actual days working on it, was probably 3 or 4 weeks out of the whole year last year. And most of that was dedicated to building the motor and the new turbos and things like that. I just didn't touch it because I had the GMC, and frankly, last year I was just starting to get tired of the project because it's been going. I've been on this swap now for about a little over a year, about a year and a half. So I was starting to get tired of it, and I lost interest. Well, now I'm back. I'm definitely highly interested in it again, and we're gonna get this bitch running. So expect videos of it. My poor neighbors, when I bring it up on the 2-step, setting out in the driveway, it's gonna be good. So stick with me. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. If you don't like it, thumbs down. Tell me I'm an idiot, whatever. Subscribe. I definitely appreciate it. And I will talk to you soon. Thank you.